Everybody, it is Marie here from the Quarantine Diaries for Skeinz. It is Tuesday, the 21st of April, day 27. How is everybody going today? A little bit cooler and grey here in the bay today, but it is so good to be here with you. And I've got a few things to chat about today. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Knit August Nights, and then we're going to have a little chat about what the announcement yesterday means for Skeinz and for the mill, and then I'm going to give you some progress on my Rambler. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet today if I can, because I've got lots to get through away from all of this. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, as I said, is Knit August Nights. For those who don't know, I also have an event called Knit August Nights. It's held every year here in Hawke's Bay and Napier in August, at the end of August. I just completed year 10 last year, so it is something that a lot of us have been to and we really enjoy. It is, and usually for Knit August Nights, I open registrations 1st of May, 10 a.m. It has been tradition. It is something that has happened every year for 10 years, and it's how it's been done. However, obviously everything this year is so different, and I have been waiting to just see how everything tracks out, and I've been also talking to venues and other key stakeholders in the event just to see where we go for 2020. So after yesterday's announcement and having a good look at everything that is involved, I have made the decision to defer CAN 2020 until next year. And I'm doing that for several reasons. The first one primarily is with registrations. Obviously, I take money from you to hold an event, which means that you and I then create a legal binding contract that you give me money and I'm going to provide you with something. And the reality of it is in the current environment at the moment, I just can't, in all honesty, do that without knowing whether or not I can supply the event that I would like to supply and will be promising to supply. There are still so many unknowns. At this stage, you know, it's wonderful that we're going to be moving to level 3. We're hoping that's just for a couple of weeks, but we don't know. Level 2 is looking like that there still will be a restriction around maths gatherings, and there may still be a restriction around maths gatherings at level 1. We just don't know that for certain. And with Knit August Nights attracting at any given time around 300 people, with the public day being even much bigger than that, it certainly does become affected. The good news is I have spoken to one of the 2 venues that I've been involved with. They're able to defer everything across to next year without any issues whatsoever. That is the Crown Hotel. And if any of you have accommodation bookings with the Crown Hotel, they have said to me to let you know, just reach out to them and that they will actually help defer those bookings for you. So that's no problem there. I haven't been able to get hold of East Pier at this stage, but that's, I will talk to David once he's able to reopen again. As you can imagine, he is completely closed down, both being accommodation and restaurant and bar. So once we know what's going there, I'll be able to do that. And I will start working towards making sure that CAN 2021 happens. The most important thing, though, is that I didn't want to be in a position where I asked everybody for registrations for something that I couldn't guarantee was going to happen. And I just think that that's the most important thing right now, is to make sure that we can plan. And I need to know that I can plan for next year, and I think that's much, much safer. In terms of what's going to happen in the last weekend in August of this year, I'm going to get through these next few weeks and actually see if we can maybe just do something fun to mark the weekend in an online format. Whether it be a gathering of traders or some online tutorials, I really don't know how that will shape up. But I'm just kicking around and playing around with a few ideas at this stage. So I hope you understand. I know it is really, really tough for those who have planned ahead, and a number of you have planned ahead. But as you can see, that's the situation that I'm in. I can't. It can cost a tremendous amount of money to put on, and I just, in no good conscience, receive money from you guys and not make sure I put on the very best that I can. But also I can't financially put myself in that own risk with venue hire and all the rest of it, which all those costs are fixed. So it's been tough, and it's something that I haven't wanted to do. But I think that is the new normal that we live in. And 2020, I think we're just going to write off, and I am now focusing on 2021 to make sure that it's going to be even better for Can 11. So that is what's happening with the Knit August Nights. In terms of the announcement yesterday and Skeinz, so we were really thrilled to see the announcement yesterday that there is going to be movement to level 3 once we get back from the long weekend. So that is awesome. That's given us an entire week to plan and get everything organised at our end. Now, what you some of you may not realise that our warehouse has actually been open the entire time. We have got permission to be open to sell blankets as essential items at level 4, which we have been able to do all the way through. And that means that with the warehouse still open, when that change just to sell blankets happened just on Easter, we made sure that we kept the web store open, and any orders that were received once the change happened, we've actually picked and packed those, and they're already sitting there ready to go out. So the moment that those can be released, they will be sent out in the first wave. If you're wanting to get product out and you're wanting to make sure that you get stuff out for the next few weeks, because the reality of it is, let's face it, unless you're heading back to work within your own work environment for the next, and within level 3, most of us, the large majority of us, are still essentially locked down. So we are able to send orders out from Tuesday of next week. So that is great news. So if you're wanting to get your orders out and you want to be in those first groups of orders that go out, I would suggest that you actually make your orders now, because as I said, the warehouse is still open, they are being picked and packed, and so the more that we can get picked and packed this week before we head into a long weekend, the better. Our staff don't work across a long weekend, so anything sort of received essentially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday won't be packed until next week, so probably won't go out until towards the end of next week. So if you want to make sure that you get your yarn as soon as possible, I would definitely jump online and get those orders in now. So as I said, we're picking and packing them, and we can get that all done for you. And I'm just going to turn that speaker off. I knew there's something I forget to do every day. Yes, so definitely do that. Yes, and I do know when you jump on, it's looking fairly decimated on there at the moment, particularly Parentale and Merino Soft. I'm so sorry for that. The other good news is that the way our mill is set up and structured, that this week has given the team plenty of time to actually pull together everything that we require for our mill team to return to work safely. For those who have actually toured and gone through our mill, we have a number of people working there, but the mill itself is very, very spread out. Maintaining social distancing within the mill is not an issue at all, because it's generally a solo person working on a single machine, and these machines are very large and spaced a good portion apart. And even in our finishing area, which is probably where staff are more closely working together, even then those maintaining 2-metre distance is no problem whatsoever. So the team are all working really hard at the moment to get everything that they require in terms of getting the mill all up and running for sanitation, PPE in the lake. So that is all going on with them. So once the mill returns back to work from next week, it then means that we will start seeing some stocks return into our store in the sort of the following week or two after that. We'll start things. We already had a lot that was working through the mill before we closed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll start seeing stock returning by the second week of level 3, which will be fantastic news. There are, however, some ranges that are actually looking fairly healthy, and one of them that I wanted to mention, particularly if you're wanting to do some baby knitting, is our Legacy range, which is the stunning organic merino Polworth that we have, and that's it there. And this is one that actually just got stocked up prior to going into lockdown. So we are holding pretty good stocks of the Legacy. So if you are looking for some baby knitting, this is absolutely perfect. So we do have that. We also have Baby Bandit as well in stock, which is the machine washable merino from Outlaw Yarns, or Bandit Yarns rather. So that is there. So you can definitely make sure you can pick up some of that. And also the new Orb Fine colours have come in as well. And they are all machine washable merino. So that's and the other one to remember too, if you're looking for 4-ply for particularly baby knitting that's suitable for baby knitting, is don't forget the Skeinz sock. It's just called sock. 4-ply machine washable merino with nylon. Now the nylon is fine, it's not an issue with babies at all. We have the nylon in there in case you want to use it for socks, but that yarn is also fantastic for baby knitting, and it comes in really convenient 100-gram balls, so, and it's really well priced. So that is certainly another yarn to consider. Our DKs are a little bit healthier, with the exception of Perrindale, but Urban Deluxe, our machine washable DK, has still actually got a good range of colours available in store, and Southlander is really healthy. So we had a big stock up of Southlander across the board earlier within the year. So if you're looking for really good, wonderful, warm, rustic yarns, Southlander is definitely available, and there's loads of that there, which brings me to our Rambler, because I am doing Rambler in Southlander. So here it is here. I've got itchy nose. Why is it whenever I start this, I always get itchy nose? So I have a sleeve. Look at that. Ta-da! So I have this wonderful sleeve. It's a nice, I've actually made sure I've done this. The sleeve is a nice quite close fitting sleeve, and I have tried it on for the length, and it does. I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to look really, really good. So I've got that first sleeve done, and what I've gone and done, as you can see, end's not woven in, is I've just gone and popped at the end there of the cuff just 3 rounds each of the 3 colours that I have used in my yoke. Now the eagle eyes may have noticed that I've actually not done them in the same order as what I've done in my yoke, and I've actually done that quite deliberately, because for me, I really like the gold at the end. That's just a personal thing, but I've gone and placed 3 rounds of the Noro, 3 rounds of the Cove, and 3 rounds of the Bandit Daring at the end there. And I am now on this other side. Here it is. Ooh. Working on sleeve number 2. So I'm hoping to be honest, the sleeve didn't take very long. I knocked most of the sleeve off in a day, and then this portion literally has taken me 2 days to get done, and it's only because I've been so busy with other things that I haven't had time to manage to knit. This is in Southlander Sport, predominantly Southlander Sport and charcoal. We've got loads of Southlander Sport, loads of Southlander DK, and loads of Southlander bulky, especially in this charcoal, which I just love. So that is a really good option if you're looking for something to get knitted up and enjoy. So that's how my Rambler is getting on. I'm really, really pleased with it. I haven't done any more work on anything else. I'm actually now quite determined to get that finished. And talking to Suzanne yesterday, did you guys enjoy my chat with Suzanne Bryan? Isn't she just fabulous? I adore her. I think that she is such a treasure for our community, and her Technic YouTubes are just such go-tos for me, and her skill is just amazing, absolutely amazing. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday was in terms of fit. We talked about in terms of fit and making sure that sort of in terms of measurements, especially the upper bust measurement, and actually this fit through here is one of the most crucial elements in terms of getting a garment fitting correctly. And this is one of the reasons why with this Rambler, because this is a yoked garment, so it sort of does sit quite tent-ish across the top of the body. And believe me, with my shape, I don't mind tent-ish, all right? But I'm not, if I can get something, and you can actually see this with the garment that I'm wearing here, I mean, it's still relatively fitted through the sleeve. And for me, I just find that if I'm able to do that, it gives me a really flattering profile. So part of the reason I did the sleeve first is I did make some slight alterations. Yes, Marie made modifications. Shocker. To the sleeve shaping. And one of those, actually, and I'll tell you about it now because I know that I've been working with Yvonne in chat here, who's been working on her Rambler, and she will get to this point. One of the things that I did is that I am a little bit thicker here. Yes, I've got some wiggly wings. So I actually didn't start my shaping for the sleeve until I actually had quite a decent portion. I did the first decrease right when I picked the stitches up. So and so I actually did it to get rid of those little holes that you can sometimes get from a cast off edge or picked up stitch edge round through to where the stitches have been on a holder. And then I left it actually for a good 18 rows, which was about that much. Then started my decreasing, and it just gave me a little bit more room through the thickest part of my bicep here. And I mean, I do actually have little weeny little guns here. So it gave me a little bit more room there, and then I started my decreasing. The other thing I changed that they had in the pattern is that I did my decreasing down until actually not the number of stitches for my size, it was actually the next size up, because the length was getting to where I wanted it. So I mean, it's 2 stitches, that's not going to change too much neither here nor there. But what I did do is for the cuff, so as you can see, it's nice and tapered to the cuff, is that on her instruction, on Marcella's instruction, she did actually have the cuff in the same sized needle, which, to be honest with you, I wasn't going to do. So I've actually done my cuff on a 3.75 through the body. I've done my cuff on a 3.25. To be honest with you, if I'd had a 3mm, I actually possibly would have done it on a 3mm, but I didn't. And I was using my little circulars tips. The smallest tips I had is 3.25. So that's what I've gone and done. And to be honest with you, as looking at that taper, it's fine. So and it's nice and springy. And to be honest, and I probably should have done a sew and bind off on there, because that would have looked really wonderful and elastic and neat, but I was lazy. I couldn't be bothered because I was doing this at 6 o'clock this morning. So no. So that's where I'm at with Rambler. So hopefully I'll have more progress to show you that tomorrow. Also coming up on the show this week, I'm catching up again with Libby Johnson from Truly Myrtle. Now that I have technology sorted out, we can not only talk to Libby, we can see Libby. So she is going to come and join me straight after she's finished her show, which she does, of course, every Thursday at 10 o'clock live over on the Truly Myrtle page. So once you've been to watch Libs, you can come over and she's going to catch up. She'll have everything all set up to come and talk to me after that. And actually, I think one of the elements we're going to talk about, and I really like to talk about with her, is around particularly patterning, the patterns that we've had, both Timely and Floozy, which are 2 of her biggest patterns, in the thread that we've got in the Skeinz Speakeasy at the moment, under your go-to favourites. Those are the 2 from her that have just come up again and again and again. And I'm going to talk to her about just some shaping tips on both of those, because she has, one of those is a yoked cardigan and or sweater, and the other one I think is her set and sleeve that she does. Libby's designs, particularly if it isn't a yoked design, she does have a set-in sleeve that she does. I've done it on her oatmeal, and I believe she also does it in her gingerbread, and I think in the Timely as well. It's a fantastic sleeve. It is really, really, really good. So I'm going to talk to her a little bit about that as well. It's something, a wealth, when it comes to fit, if you can get this whole shoulder and sleeve area right, it just makes a dramatic difference. And I know that that is an element in the design that Libby has really paid special attention to. So I think that would be really neat to talk about that. I've also had confirmation from Rachel Heron, and she is definitely on for next week. So I'm super excited about that. Rachel is a writer. She is a American Kiwi, lives in California, and she has written a number of books. And in fact, her one series of books, the Cypress Hollow series, was set around knitting and craft, and written very much from her own personal experiences with yarn and craft and knitting. So it is something that I'm really looking forward to with that. And yes, I am going to try and get Peter on. I'm quite determined now. We did have our first Teams meeting yesterday with Skeinz on technology, and we managed to get Peter in audio, not in visual. He does have a tendency to repel technology, but I'm sure between myself, Mary, and Peter, I can manage to get him all hooked up on here too, because there's so much knowledge that I want him to share. I'm just going to check for any questions, and then I'm going to keep it nice and short and sweet today. Oh, everyone's just saying how lovely it is where they are. It's actually quite cool here. Really, really cool. So it is just how it is. So okay. Oh yeah, I know about Ken. It is tough. It's very tough. I've been, those that know me very well know that I have been agonizing over this for weeks, and I've been just waiting to see, and I didn't want to make decisions too early. So yeah, and I just wanted to wait and see what was happening yesterday before I made things too. Yeah. Now Helen, thank you, Helen, for doing that. Helen has just popped up Suzanne's latest off the cuff interview, which I caught some of as well, with Kyle Kaneki. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. He is another incredible knitter. Her off the cuff interviews are fantastic. So if you are looking for other things to watch, do actually have a look at Suzanne's channel, and she's that's her latest interview. So do go and check that out, and have a look at some of the other interviews that she has. I've really enjoyed them. They're totally fabulous. Right, okay, that's pretty much me really today. I hope you get loads of knitting done yourselves, and I will see you again tomorrow. I have got a little bit more to talk about tomorrow, so I'm going to talk about just sort of the evolution that we have from taking different shapes, sort of an extension from what I talked about with Ethan the other day. Hopefully my sleeve will be a little bit further down the track with my Rambler, and anything else that might crop up. But until then, you have a really good day. I will talk to you again tomorrow, and I'll be back here with Libby on Thursday. So take care.